Melissa, question for you. When you came to Hal for the first time, you said that, or Hal told us that you were willing to do anything that they said. Why were you so motivated, and what were your expectations? Like, didn't you just think you were going into assisted living and that's kind of where the beginning of the end was going to start? Or did you have other expectations of maybe leaving at some point?
Well, that's where Hal Cranmer's homes are so different. From the get-go, it was understood this was a temporary thing. I decided there were those several years of just eating the wrong thing, going against everything I knew. And I realized this is my chance. I just knew that this was going to be, I keep calling it, and it is my miracle. And that is why when first conversations weekly with Hal and then Matt or Eric, I agreed to do all those things, including the cold shower after the sauna, which I regret now. The others in the home where I stayed used to laugh because, of course, I scream, right? But it's been a joke, and I've done, like I said, I knew if I'm going to do this, I'm committing completely, and did everything.
I think that was a big positive was, I have a lot of people move into my assisted living homes, and the first thing they say is, I don't want to be here. I want to go home. Why can't I live at home? And one of the things we do with people who have dementia, who aren't as motivated as Melissa, we say, if you get better, we'll send you home. Because we've done that with some people. So you work really hard. This is just a temporary thing. And that kind of calms them down a little. And we use that as, let's get you into a routine, and then you kind of get used to the place and you lose your anger about being there. With Melissa, it was right from the start of, she told us this is going to be a temporary thing. I'm going to fight this. I'm going to get better. I'm going to go home, which wasn't I don't want to be here. I want to go home, which is really not I don't want to do any work. I just want you to send me home. Hers was, I'm going to do whatever it takes to go home. And the difference between those two attitudes is just enormous. And I think she never thought ever, this is going to be my assisted living home for the rest of my life. This is going to be a temporary thing that gets me better, and I'm going home. And I don't think you ever lost, no matter what your memory's going on, I don't think you ever lost that thought in your head right from the day you walked into our home.
Right. I simply closed my apartment down. And,
you didn't like terminate the lease or anything. You're like, I'm coming back to it.
I just left it and went there. And the whole goal. Now, see, I had the goal too. Once I came home, I've been looking for places. I'm moving to Arizona. So yeah. I'm moving back to that area where I've already started creating this life. And I have a couple of the residents that are cognitive that we've kept in touch. I've kept in touch with some of the caregivers. I miss the place. I love everyone. I miss the cooks, let me tell you. But yeah, this has been my miracle, my mission, and my part was, I'm going to do this. Hal's part, he did his part, and it all came together. Mm-hmm.
Wow. That's absolutely amazing. This might be a question for all three of you. Melissa, yours might be more the experience. For the other two, maybe you'll add some contrast to it. But basically, we've got these multimodalities. Eric, you're an absolute expert in using all of the different things that can really help people. And I asked you this on the podcast you and I did together. And again, all of you can answer this question. But do you think that food, if you could choose one thing, like if she's not going to do a cold bath, a cold immersion, or a sauna, red light, whatever, all these amazing things, do you think that food is the biggest thing for most people in most situations?
Well, I don't know who wants to take a stab at that, but I'm guessing you're waiting for me to weigh in.
You're a scientific expert here.
It's a great, yeah. It's an awesome question, Casey, but it's really difficult to answer because A lot of people will listen to it and they say, okay, that's the one thing I'm going to do. And I want the takeaway to be, it's never just about one thing. But if we're talking holes in the boat, reality is some are probably bigger than others. It's just a question of what's the relative size for you. And given that Alzheimer's disease is nicknamed diabetes of the brain or type 3 diabetes for a reason, and that is the most common dementing illness, I would say, yeah, diet, and especially the standard American diet, is probably the most important thing that the majority of people could deal with. But keep in mind that I've also done blood work on many hundreds of people, and I've seen so many that have severe impairment, but when you look at their metabolic health, they're knocking it out of the ballpark. They've got other issues that are their bigger thing. So I just, it's going to sound like I'm talking out of both sides of my mouth, but I think that's what I'd say about it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd like to say if you get the food right, it sets you up for the other stuff. Like if you're eating well is a conscious choice of, I want to improve my health. And it's more than anything else, the daily task that you're going to do for the rest of your life. So it's not only is it good, like Eric's saying, for your body and your metabolic health and everything, but it's sort of sets the parameter, gets you into a sort of self-discipline mindset that, okay, I fixed the food, now what's the next step? And it'll lead you down the road. Just like you heard Melissa, she got home and started investigating hyperbaric oxygen chambers. I mean, what are the chances she probably walked by that place 100 times before she came to us and never even knew it was there? So, once you're doing the food thing and you're accepting of that, you're going to be accepting for a whole bunch of other therapies, modalities of things that can help you out.
Hal, I think that's one of the most thoughtful responses I've ever heard to that question. And I totally agree with you that it's, if you're getting the food right, it says something about your intentionality and your mindset and how you approach all of this.